Welcome back to the Golden Whiskers podcast. Thank you so much for being here. So, for this week's episode, I'm doing something a little different. Instead of a brand new guest, I'm sharing the full uncut interview from the Thrive Feline Wellness Summit with the brilliant herbalist Rita Hogan. Rita is a clinical herbalist with over 20 years of experience. And while she's best known as a canine herbalist, she's also a devoted cat mom and deeply passionate about holistic wellness for our feline friends. So, in this conversation, we dive into all things kidney disease, urinary tract health, and how to use herbs like parsley, nettle seed, and marshmallow root safely and effectively to support your cat's well being. This interview really meant a lot to me, especially after going through kidney disease with Mia. Hope it gives you the same clarity and confidence to support your cat naturally and preventatively. Now let's get into it. This topic is brand new to me, so I'm coming at you with a beginner's mindset here, which is amazing. And some of our audiences may be new to them as well. So I'm really excited to dig into this topic all about herbs and how they can help our feline friends. So, I want to dive right in, Rita, and talk a little bit about kidney disease. My previous two cats, who are no longer with us, Mia specifically had kidney disease. She was diagnosed at age 16. She passed away at age 20. So she had it for about 4 years. I wanted to start off just by asking you, why do you think kidney disease is so prevalent in cats? And then how can herbs help support cats dealing with it?
Um, so I feel that kidney disease is so prevalent in cats because they eat dried food. Um, the kidney is very dependent on moisture. It needs moisture. It needs minerals to function correctly. And although kibble and dried foods are very convenient, right? You can just leave it out, and your cat can eat when he wants to. It's at a detriment, and so many cats, die of kidney disease,
Mm.
and cats in the wild do not. So, very seldom will they die of kidney disease. So, and because they're eating, a cat appropriate, species appropriate diet. Cats are obligate carnivores. They don't need, any vegetables or anything like that. Uh, they have very strong microbiomes, strong acid in their stomach. Um, the stomach acid helps them with pathogens, and the rest is kind of in the books as far as cats are concerned. Of course that makes them different than dogs, right? So, I think that's one of the main concerns. Another thing is dealing with all of our emotions, because a lot of cats are in the house, and they're very cats are very intuitive, they're very sensitive. Um and they deal with all of the stuff that's going on, even though they're kind of, they're just laying there, right? A lot of the times that are running across the house, with their back arched and getting into trouble. But,
Right.
but they spend an inordinate amount of time sleeping, and they just are laying there taking in all of the emotions and vibrations that are going on in the house. Our stress is their stress. It's the same for dogs and for everyone in the house. We kind of all sync up, right?
Mm.
There's great science-based institute online called the HeartMath Institute, and wow, the HeartMath Institute really has opened everyone's eyes with evidence-based research in that, when you are in a household, a lot of all of our hearts really do sync up. And eventually, we're all kind of on the same line and share the same stress. So that's really interesting. You can take a look at that in your spare time. But herbs can really help. Uh, Herbs can work in a preventative manner versus a reactive manner. I think having a plan is so important. I know that, my cat Bones, that was my last cat, he died at about 23, but he was diagnosed with kidney disease at around 16.
Mm.
Um, and I think, let's see, 3 years into it, he had a real bad bout of it, and, lots of symptoms. Um, I had to go my own path in that department.
Yeah.
and he lived until he was, I think 23. I think he was just turned 23 or just about to 23. So, I'm not good with timelines, but I think that's about it. I know he was over 22. So, yeah, and we had to develop a personalized plan for him, but it did help. And there's so many herbs that are really good for the kidneys in general, and that's where we want to support the kidney before kidney disease happens, and we can do that through diet, and we can also do that through herbs.
What, are some of the herbs that would be good at supporting the kidneys?
Well, I mean, before we get into the herbs, I think that it's important to acknowledge, like, what are some of the symptoms
Mm.
that, because if you wanna work in a preventative mindset, or if you have a dog with, or sorry, I'm gonna slip. I am gonna slip. If you have a cat with kidney disease, right? Um, um, what are some of the signs? That things are kind of going south. Like for kidney disease, vomiting, projectile vomiting, loss of appetite, skin conditions start to come up, crusting and sometimes oozing skin conditions can be a big indicator of that things are going south for cats. But like for just general kidney symptoms, there's quite a few like weak teeth. Okay, so when you have weak teeth, we know that the kidneys need help. Low immune function, ear infections, um, fear of noise. So, we were talking about Carl. I was talking to friends about Carl, and Carl's very jumpy, and he's my cat who just had a kidney issue from stress, from house construction, right?
Mm.
Um, Fear of noises, extra jumpy, extra scared. That is a sign that the kidneys may need some support. And then cats that are constipated, cats that groan a lot or make a lot of noise when they lay down. And then, you have those red flags that the UTIs, the cats that get UTIs, the cats that have bladder infections, that are starting to get stones, that are starting to be, that have bouts of incontinence. All of that is saying, hey, my kidneys need some assistance. Because a lot of times people just focus on the urinary tract and the bladder, but it's the kidneys that rule them all, right? So we can look at the kidneys and get a yearly um, protein scan for kidney disease, get a yearly baseline that, a urine sample and have it tested, get a yearly blood and have that tested, so that we can again come from that preventative mindset. So Um, some herbs that are really good for kidneys, I like to start off with, uh, something that's super easy, parsley,
Yeah.
right? Parsley, and, sometimes if you Google parsley, you're gonna come up with, "Oh, parsley, is toxic." Parsley is not toxic to cats. Um, you want to know your parsley, so the parsley that I recommend is the crispum uh, brand. And when you're buying parsley in the store, or if you buy a plant, just look at its Latin name and make sure it's Petrocilium crispum, Crispum. That is a safe form of parsley for your kitty. And you don't give a lot. It's antioxidant, it's full of chlorophyll, it has calcium, it has vitamin A and C, trace minerals. And trace minerals are the key to a healthy kidney. Um, and it also helps balance the adrenal glands in your cat. It supports the liver. It's a tonic, and that means that you give a little for an extended period of time, and it really helps balance everything out. And with kidney disease, parsley can help balance the sodium levels because it's a diuretic, and it's anti-inflammatory to the renal tissue, which is the kidneys. So it really helps with preventing urinary tract infections. It helps with cats that aren't peeing enough,
Mm.
right? They're drinking, but they're not peeing. That, they're peeing less than they're drinking. And if they're having wet food, that would if they're not peeing, there's a lot of moisture in wet food. If they're not peeing good amounts every day, twice a day, a pretty good amount each time, then that they would fall into that category. And you can make a little parsley tea, just like you'd make your own self a cup of tea, right?
Mhm.
Little parsley tea, you steep it. Um, I usually steep it for 15 to 30 minutes. You strain it, and it's just 1 teaspoon for every 10 pounds of kitty. That's pretty easy. 1
Yeah.
teaspoon for every 10 pounds of kitty on your cat's food. You can also buy a glycerate of parsley. Um, I get that at a company called Hawaii Farm, and PHARM, Hawaii Farm. You can get a, glycerate of parsley and give it that way. I'd give probably half a dropper twice a day of that. Um, so parsley's great, and it's very, easily available. Um, and then we have an herb that I think is, if I was stranded on a desert island, right? If I was stranded on an island, maybe not a desert island, but if I was stranded on an island, this is the herb that I would want for sure, because it has such a good array of trace minerals. Again, trace minerals are absolutely imperative for kidney disease. It's a tonic. It's full of vitamins. You got your B vitamins. It's full of potassium, which is very important for the heart and for the body systemically. It has phosphorus. It helps with the lymphatic system, which people overlook in their kitties and their puppies. So it helps stimulate the lymphatic system. That's going to be your fat soluble garbage machine. Okay. It helps the kidneys immensely. So we want that moving. It helps with kidney disease. You use the seed of the nettle. Um, and you can get a tincture of that. I carry that one in my store. And then it helps prevent kidney imbalances in general. And it can help with protein dumping in the urine.
Mm.
Um, Nettle detoxifies the liver, it detoxifies the kidney. Um, it I mean, I think that it's very non-toxic for cats. We don't have any toxicity for the kitties. It helps with food sensitivities, it helps with allergies. It can help restore kidney function. And I know that um just to, in general, when I have a person, a dog or a cat that is in kidney failure, right? The nettle seed is my first go-to because, it may not restore it may, when it works, right? Not every herb is going to work,
Right.
but not for every cat, right? But when it works, it works. And what it does is it may not restore 100% function, right? But it could take it from 5% function to 25% function. And that you can have all day long, and that's what I would have all day long and be doing a party. I would have a party for my kitty because that's gonna take away a lot of those symptoms. And, you know, the kidney is amazing as it can function in at a very low rate, right? So, it's nettle
And
seed,
that nettle? Nettle?
nettle. It's also called stinging nettle.
Okay.
You never wanna use it fresh. You can use the seed fresh, but, I usually use the dried seeds, but, you never wanna use the leaf, fresh because it has this thing called formic acid, which, stings. That's why it's called stinging nettle. But if it's dried, or cooked, that formic acid goes away.
Mm.
So, usually it's made from a dried plant.
Yeah.
And, the dosage for a kitty is real low. It's like 1 to 2 drops for every 10 pounds of weight. That's it, and that is amazing. Um, so one of the things that I'm just gonna elaborate on the seed a little bit because this is the one that the seed can really help cats. One, it's a little stimulating. So your cat, told you I'm gonna
Yep.
cat could be a little hyper. on it. Not saying it will, but it can. It stimulates. But the seed brings down inflammation in the kidney. It helps with cloudy urine, any painful urination. It supports connective tissues, which a lot of um, our organs need connective tissues to support them, right? There's not just the organ, but there's those supporting connective tissues, because without our connective tissues, we would just be a little pile on the floor. So we love things that support connective tissues when it comes to renal disease. Um, it helps protein in the urine. It helps with high creatine levels or creatinine levels, however you wanna tomato. Um, it helps with Lyme-related kidney disease. That's not a big deal in cats. It is for outdoor kitties, but not indoor kitties. Outdoor kitties can get Lyme. Indoor kitties don't necessarily do that ever,
Mhm.
really. Um, it helps with that fear and anxiety that I talked about with kitties with renal problems. So it's an adaptogen. And a lot of people will talk about adaptogens like ginseng or ashwagandha, but nettle seed is a mild adaptogen, and it helps with mood, and it helps with that cat that's crying in the middle of the night, right? The cat that's keeping you up in the middle of the night due to kidney disease. You know, that,
Yeah.
um, the howling, it helps soothe the nervous system. Sometimes I'll mix it with chamomile, for cats. And again, if you Google chamomile for cats, something may come up as don't give your dog or cat chamomile or your dog. And just give German chamomile and Roman chamomile. It's the matricaria, camomilia. So just look for the chamomile with the M. With herbs, you really want to know your Latin names, right?
Mhm.
Very important because the common names can change region to region. Like, for instance, you're in Knoxville, I'm in Washington. Herbs out in Knoxville could be called something commonly completely different than they are here with the local people. But the Latin name is universal.
Yeah.
So, but German chamomile is safe for kitties in, low dosages, like a tea. Perfect. Um, my cats love it, so, I'll put it on their food, especially Carl when he's having a little fear moment, right? But he definitely gets nettle seed. Um, so that I mean, nettle seed is my biggest one. It's just such a powerhouse when it comes to kidney disease, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for sharing those. I mean, I wish I knew about this when I had Mia, and she was going through her kidney issues because some of the symptoms she had and her behaviors kind of are similar to what you described, waking up in the middle of the night with that kind of that loud meow and having some teeth issues and things like that. So, but that's a reason we're putting together this summit. So now we know moving forward what are some of the good herbs for to help prevent those diseases. And I want to, you've mentioned a couple times how like the name of the herb or look, know your Latin names and things like that are important, which leads me to my next question, that herbs can be a little bit confusing or mysterious for those of us who are used to traditional medicine like I am.
Yeah.
So for cat owners who are just kind of brand new to herbal remedies, what's maybe the first thing they should know about using herbs safely and effectively?
Yeah, so more is not better.
Hmm.
Okay, so, like, let's just take nettle seed, right? Your cat has kidney disease, and, well, Rita said to give 1 to 2 single drops, little drops, tiny babies coming out of the dropper. Um, well, 6 must be better.
Hmm.
It's not. It's not. Each herb is an individual. Each herb has a dosage range, and toxicity is dosage, right? You can kill yourself with water. Drink too much water, you can die from drinking too much water.
Hmm.
It's all about dosage, okay? So, start out small, work your way up. Use formulas that are already in commerce if you're starting out, right? Those are good. I know that, You have, the 2 crazy cat ladies, Jay and
Yeah.
Adrian, on your summit, and they have a wonderful cat store. They help people all around the world, with their cats. I love their service. They have some great remedies on there. Um, I have some remedies on my shop. Pet Wellbeing is a big company that does glycerate-based remedies for cats. They're awesome. There's another one called, Native Remedies Pets Alive. I've been using Native remedies for I don't since before I really even started out. So, like, over 21 years. They've been around for a long time. They have excellent, uh, herbal and homeopathic remedies for cats. Um, so, like, those are some kind of safe ways to start out. Now, if you're using herbs at home, there's a great book by Greg Tilford. He's a mentor of mine. Um, it's called Herbs for Pets. Pretty simple, right?
Yeah.
Herbs for pets. He goes over cats and dogs and safety in that book. Uh, it's a lovely, easy read and easy reference. So you can look up like, oh, I have chamomile in my kitchen, and I wonder if it's safe for my kitty. And it will have the Latin name, and it will tell you all about it. And how to use it for your kitty. What the cautions are, what your precautions are. Does it interact with different medicines? It's a great book, Herbs for Pets. Um, and, you know, the biggest thing I tell anybody is if you get a list of herbs that are safe for kitties, we're talking about today, learn about one every month. At
Mm.
the end of the year, you've got 12 herbs, and a lot of herbalists use less than, like, 25 herbs for their entire practice. You get to where you really know these plants as individuals, um, and just because you're not an herbalist doesn't mean you can't get to know them. That's one of the reasons why I wrote my book, The Herbal Dog, which I do cover kitties. I don't talk about kitties per se too much. I do include, is this herb safe for cats, and how to dose a kitty.
Oh,
Um
great.
yeah, and that's out right now. It's The Herbal Dog, by Rita Hogan. You can get it anywhere you purchase books, anywhere. It's traditionally published, so, by a publishing house, and, it is everywhere. So, yeah, I mean, there's good resources out there to help build confidence with your kitty, you know? Um, I'm working on a project right now that, in a year or 2 from now, you might have an excellent resource for cats, specifically. Um, there's good things coming in the future, but, just take a deep breath, find out what's safe for kitties. Google is your worst place to look.
Mm.
Okay, just putting that out there.
Yeah.
And Chat GPT is not any better in
Yeah.
that department because it's
R
drawing from sources that are incorrect. Um, and But though, like, the Herbs for Pets book is just a wonderful resource. And, just start small. Make a tea. Make a nettle leaf tea for your kitty, or put 1 drop of nettle seed on their food, and see how things go.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
reach out to professionals in the community. There's lots of them that do consults for kitties, and maybe they can ask questions or join a group on Facebook.
Yeah. Yeah, I love your idea of just learning, like, one new one per month, and then you have, like, a nice kind of library that's gonna be helpful for you and your cat, and to not overwhelm yourself by trying to, "Oh, there's 100 out there that I need to learn." But like you said, Google, there's so much conflicting information, I think it's good. It's why one of the reasons I brought you on here is to have that trusted resource. Now everybody watching has Rita Hogan as a trusted resource and can connect with you or look in your store and read your book, and we can learn what's safe and what's most effective. So I
Well,
think that's
and I think one of the things, the thing about Google is that what happens is that people will write articles on, like, uh, a research article that's using, like, let's just say, I'm just gonna give this, like, this is a really good example. there's an herb called chelidonium, right? And chelidonium is toxic if you use alcohol to extract it, okay?
Yeah.
And if you look it up, is chelidonium, okay for dogs, right? You're gonna get a lot of conflicting information based on that research project, right? But that's not how, you're giving chelidonium to dogs. You're giving them a water-based extract, which does not extract the alkaloids, which is what makes it dangerous, um, uh, hardly at all, right? Alkaloids love alcohol. So, you really have to go in and look, or like garlic for pets, right? Don't give garlic to dogs or cats, it will kill them. Not true. The research that that is based on is so much garlic. I don't even know, they obviously were force fed the garlic. So, there's no way, and there's horrible animal research out there where they're trying to get the level of toxicity that causes a fatal expression,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
So y it's how you're using it's definitely dosage. But on a happier note, um, there is an herb for cats that is very popular, but underestimated, and I would love to tell you about that one.
Yes, what's that?
It's catnip,
Catnip.
and it's catnip, and here's the thing, so everyone knows catnip as, "Okay, let's get our kitty stoned, and they'll, act like a buffoon and whatever," right? But here's the thing about catnip. Catnip is an excellent what's called nervine, okay, in herbalism, and cats indoor cats have a lot of stress, and giving catnip on a daily basis can help your cat not just act like a buffoon, but have a healthier nervous system overall. And it is a definite way, and a lot of you may already have used catnip, right?
Mhm.
You're using a dried herb, right? That when ingested as a dried herb gives a euphoric expression in your kitty, right? But it also calms the nervous system down, which in tune helps the gut, and which in tune helps the lymphatic system. It helps what's called tension in the body. And when our cats are less tense, they have less pain, they have less stress, they have better guts and a better microbiome, um, and then a better immune system. So, like, I try to tell people whenever I can, like, you have used herbs before. Catnip is an herb, and it's definitely underestimated, even though it's popular, right? So, don't be afraid to use it. Cats can really benefit from a daily catnip experience, for sure.
Any or, like, is all catnip created equally or anything specific we should be looking out for there?
Well, if you're buying it commercially and you're not growing it yourself, I
Right.
would make sure you buy organic catnip.
It's okay.
Or, if you're at your local farmer's market or anything local, you wanna say, "Hey, do you spray your catnip?" And the answer should be no.
Mhm.
Um, you just don't want anything with pesticides or herbicides. Most kitty catnip out there is organic.
Okay.
But yeah, you wanna have good, clean, catnip. But catnip can come in a spray, it can come in a tincture, it can come in a glycerate, which is the glycerin-based tinctures or extracts. Um, I think Hawaii Farm does have a catnip extract there, and it can be used dried or as a tea. So, if you wanna start dipping your paws into herbs, start with catnip.
Mm.
You got cat grass, right?
Yeah,
Cat grass
yeah.
is excellent for the urinary tract. It's excellent for the renal system. It has lots of chlorophyll, and cats love it. That's another one, and it's an herb, so it's a plant, and, those are 2 that you can literally purchase in the grocery store, right? Cat grass, wheatgrass, um, and
Yeah,
uh
my friend started giving her cat grass from a farmer's market, so it was good quality and, um but I've never done that. My cats have had, catnip, but not cat grass, so
yeah,
I
well,
will,
make it your 2nd herb.
Yes, I love that. And then well, I know we've mentioned a little bit about your UTIs, your urinary tract issues um, that a lot of cats end up with. We covered kidney disease. Urinary tract issues can be tricky to manage. I know male cats are susceptible to it. Like, and I mentioned before we even started to record this interview, Rita, that my cat Nico recently had an issue with urinating, and you gave me some really good advice. But can you share maybe your favorite herbal solutions for preventing urinary tract infections?
Yeah. So, one herb that I love for urinary tract infections, uh, well, I love nettles, nettle leaf, um, but I love marshmallow root. Marshmallow root is very soothing for the urinary tract. Um, it helps immensely with that. Um, it helps soothe the entire urinary system because, again, dried out kidneys, dried out bladder, those tissues get dried out and you can have and they get irritated and then you can get a UTI when there's inflammation. Um, I mean, you could cats can also get UTIs from like, doing kitty things like humping their pillow and things like that.
Mm.
That's like more of a contact bladder infection. But um, marshmallow root's good for bladder infections, bladder gravel, irritated bladder. It's cooling. It helps repair the mucous membranes that are damaged. And it's an anti-inflammatory. Um, you want to make sure your cat's pooping. A lot of people overlook that, but you want to make sure that your cat's pooping a couple times a day. That's really important. Another thing that helps soothe a urinary tract infection is ginger. Ginger's really great. Couch grass, um, uva ursi, given like for a week at a time, juniper berry. Um, so there is a formula from Pet Wellbeing called urinary gold. This is something that I recommend for cats that I don't know specifically as an individual, but urinary gold is excellent um, at getting rid of a urinary tract infection. I mix that with Adored Beast um, silver hydrosol, and I give 10 drops of silver hydrosol 3 times a day to a cat, along with the urinary gold, and usually the urinary tract infection is gone within 10 days. You want to give it for 10 days straight. And another one that I really like is uh, the two crazy cat ladies in their feline essentials brand. They have a urinary formula that's a vitamin C, and that's really important at correcting the pH uh, in the urinary tract. So I would do that in conjunction. And then I discussed PEA, which is an excellent anti inflammatory. You can get that at Dr. Judy Morgan's store. Um, you can just Google Dr. Judy Morgan's store, it'll pop up and put in PA. She has her own brand. I love that brand. Oh, actually, and Jay and Adrian on their Two Crazy Ladies website have they sell that PEA. So you can get all your kitty stuff in one area. Um, but yeah, those are like my kind of go-tos. But the issue remember about the UTI is what caused it in the first place,
Yeah,
right?
food,
You
maybe
want
their
to
diet, and
Yeah, you wanna get your cat peeing and no blood, peeing, with cats, it's just really important that they're peeing, right? They have a little tinge of blood, their bladder's irritated, okay, and that's what causes that blood tinge. But if they're peeing, you can still do something at home, right? If they can't pee, they have to go in right away. Male cats can die. It's not you gotta go into the emergency room. Do not try to do that by yourself, right? But if they're peeing, um you know, our goal is to get them peeing their normal amount without any blood present. Um, and you can bring your cat in for a urinary test to see if there's any trace amounts of blood. But you want to figure out, why did it happen in the first place? Is it environmental? Is it lifestyle? Is it stress? Is it something they're eating? Are they humping their toys? I The reason why I say that is I've had numerous clients with urinary tract infections from cats and dogs humping toys.
Mm.
It gets into the urethra and causes a urinary tract infection. So, but you wanna, assess the situation of why your cat has the urinary tract infection in the first place, and that's why I really like the vitamin C to help restore the pH. A lot of herbs will do that too, but that's a really, like, non-toxic, easy way to help with, preventing a reoccurrence.
Yeah, great. Great info. I want to kind of wrap up with this. Cats, as you know, can be finicky. Like, any disruption to maybe their diet, they're just so picky sometimes with their food, medicine. So what is maybe your best advice of getting cats to actually take herbs, especially if they're picky eaters?
Um, well, for me, I have a no drama approach.
I love it.
Okay. So I don't know, like with pills, I have a pillar that's about this long, you know. Um, I'll put an oven mitt on. These two cats are awesome. They'll take anything. Coral, as strange as he is so good at taking his med. I hold him like a baby and I say, "It's time to take your meds." And I put it in the side and I just drip it in there and he goes, and that's it. We're done.
Oh, lucky.
Yeah. So, but my other cat, Bones, was not as cooperative.
Mm,
Okay. One, you can try to hide it in something high value. I don't feed a lot of tuna, but sometimes I'll take a little bit of tuna. I'll put a couple drops in there and usually they'll eat it. Right. I'll let them have a little bit of tuna. And I only give it like a little tiny bit so that they'll eat that part that has the medicine on it. Um, Also, you can try to hide it in food. If it's 1 or 2 drops, the uh, I know that, like, I developed a hyperthyroid remedy for feline essentials, and we did some testing on, palatability, and we had no problems. A lot of the glycerin-based extracts, which you should be using for your cat for the most part, depending on the plant, they don't have a lot of smell or taste. That's too bad. So the cats will eat it on their food, but if they won't, here's my thing I did with Bones, because he wouldn't. He knew everything. He
mm,
knew um, with Bonesy, I would put an oven mitt on, right? I'd wrap him in a towel, I'd put an oven mitt on, I'd just hold him like this, and I'd shove it in the side of his mouth, and I never had any drama. I didn't, like, I didn't do that because that just makes it worse,
yeah.
right? That's conflicting signals. I I was very confident in my breathing, very confident, like, "This is what's happening. We're doing this. I love you. You need this medicine because you're not well, and we're just gonna move on, and we're gonna have something really great in about 15 minutes." Right? Um, and then you can use things like, what I'm not a huge fan, but they work. They work, and I'd rather get the medicine in them, uh, than not. That's my theory on that one. They come in like little sticks. Uh, nuts are nuts that Surfer Cat uses them.
Mm,
They're, oh god, they call them kitty crack,
okay.
uh, but they're little, like, food sticks, right?
Mhm.
Can't remember the name. I have some downstairs, but, they, are little food sticks, and you only need a little bit, but cats go crazy for it. And you can stick a couple drops in that, and I've never had a cat not eat it. However, I didn't know about those until, when I had Bones.
Yeah, yeah.
You just have to keep trying, you have to figure it out, and the big thing is don't traumatize your cat in the fact that don't make it a big deal. Like, if you're breathing correctly and you're not stressed about it, they're gonna take it in a lot easier, and yes, they're gonna make a nasty face. I mean, I know when I take my herbs, sometimes I make a nasty face,
Right.
like, "Ooh," but they will get used to it, but the glycerin-based extracts, I think, are the way to go. Oh,
Sure.
churros
Okay.
churro sticks,
Yep, I've seen
okay?
those.
Yes. Um, that's my last resort is the churro stick, but
Yeah.
cats, well, and dogs, but cats go absolutely nuts for the churro stick. I mean, the surfer cat people have taught that Bengal cat to do absolutely everything with that churro stick.
You made a great point, that cats can pick up on our energy. I've had a couple other experts on this summit that we're talking about that, and cats can really sense when you're anxious or if you're putting out a negative, stressful vibe or an energy, they'll pick up on that and they'll mimic it, kind of like we
Yeah.
talked about at the beginning here. So,
And that's why it's super important to be confident when you're giving medicines. Like,
right.
don't okay, here's the thing. Don't feel bad. You're helping. Okay. Don't act like you feel bad because it's like, Mama, what's wrong? Okay, I'm gonna freak out because you're freaking out, right? I take a no nonsense, happy approach. I tell them, I love you. We got to have this medicine until you're better. Then hopefully you'll never see it again. Right.
Mm, yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, you just have to, you have to do that. And, um, you got to be confident.
Mm, mhm. Yeah. Take it, even if you have to, right?
That's right. Fake it till you make it. Just, you're going to,
Um, yeah. Rita, this has been great. I want to give you the opportunity before we say our goodbyes to share, your website. I know you have some great products there, but share your website, any social media platforms, in your book. Do you have a copy of it right there you can hold up? Yeah, let's see that. I'm gonna spotlight you here. The herbal
there it
dog
is.
just
I
came
kiss it
out.
every time. There it is.
Congratulations.
Thank you. My publisher gave me an early copy. A lot of people want it, but
Yeah.
it's coming out on the 4th of February if you're in the US, and I think on the 12th of March if you're not. But,
Okay.
yeah, there it is right there. I, I have I have a few things. So I have a free podcast called Dogs Are Individuals, and I talk about cats and dogs on there. Um, I so that's 100% free. I have a social media platform. I have at Canine Herbalist on Instagram, Canine Herbalist on Facebook. I have a private group on Facebook called Dogs Are Individuals. My book has a private group, so we've got those covered. Um, and I have a teaching platform, canineherbalism.com. And then I have a store with consulting, and that is canineherbalist.com. And then on Canine Herbalism, I have a what's called the Canine Herbalist Advisory. And that is a subscription for $15 a month where you can ask unlimited questions
Mhm.
about dogs, cats, horses, whatever you want to ask about. I answer those. It's the best way to get a hold of me because I'm a very busy person.
Yes. Awesome. Well, plenty of ways to connect with you or learn from you. Thank you for sharing all of those. I'll make sure to kind of link those up in a written format so people can just click on it and go to the various places that you just shared. And Rita, I want to acknowledge the work that you're doing. I mean, this is amazing stuff. A lot of people, this herbs with our cats is brand new, like it is for me. I've learned a lot in just this short 45 minutes that we've been chatting. I know it's helpful for other people, but just want to acknowledge the work that you're doing, that you're putting out there to help canines, to help felines, to help humans live better lives. Hope you enjoyed that interview with Rita. Again, thanks to Rita Hogan for sharing so much wisdom. If you want to learn more from her, definitely check out her book, The Herbal Dog. You can find her also at canineherbalist.com. Her book, by the way, does also include cat safe herb recommendations. If this episode helped you, it would mean a lot if you shared it with other cat parents. As always, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being a part of the Golden Whiskers family, where we help your cat live a longer, healthier, and happier life into their golden years. See you next time.